the last strategy I'm going to remind us of today is using smaller numbers to solve bigger problems, like our example of 27 times 16. Again, you can use either a ratio table or an area model. For this one, because it takes up a little bit more room, I'm going to show you one method on one slide and the other method on the other. Okay? We've done all of these things before. It's just a review. And remember, how I break up the numbers does not mean you have to break up the numbers that way. If you can see some bigger numbers, that's fine. If you need to break it down into smaller numbers, that's fine too. Okay? I'm going to again show us first on or with our ratio table. Okay, I'm going to show us first with our ratio table. And for me, with ratio tables, I always like to start off with one group. Because remember, this is like 27 groups of 16. I always like to start with one because that's a really good jumping off point. So if I have one group, that means I have 16 in that group. Okay, I always like to start with one. And then I know I have to get to 27, so I want to start making some jumps that I am comfortable with. I always like to start with 2 as well. And I know that 16 times 2 is 32. Okay, here is now where some people may make different jumps. All right, for me, I like to jump by tens. So I know that if 1 times 16 is 16, I know that 10 times 16 is 160. And remember, our goal is to make combinations of jumps that can get us to 27. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 times 16 is 160, not 167. Okay. All right, so I did 1 times 10 and 16 times 10 to get 160. But some of us may be able to say, ooh, 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20. So that would be 32 times 10 is 320. See that? How some of us might have seen a bigger jump? Okay. So now I have 20 is 320. Now remember, I need to make jumps of, I need to get to 27. So right now I'm looking at my jumps that I've made. Okay. I see a 20. I need 7 more. But then I see that I have a 2. 20 and 2 would be 22. So all I would need left is 5. So I'm going to take a jump of 5. Okay. I know that 5 times 16 is 80. Now, friends, if you don't know these in your head, no worries. You can do some work like 16 times 5 off to the side. Okay, so don't feel that you can't show your work on a different sheet of paper, on your whiteboard, anywhere that you're working. Okay, so now that I'm looking again at my jumps, all right, I see I have a 20, a 2, which is 22, and a 5, which would give me 27. So I'm going to look at 2, 20, and 5, because those 3 added together gives me 27. Okay, so because I used 20, 5, and 2, I'm going to take their partners. 320, 80, and 32. And I'm going to add those bad boys up. When I add all 3 of those numbers up, I get 432, and that is my answer to 27 times 16. And this is how I use smaller numbers to solve bigger problems. On the next slide, I'm going to show us how we can use an area model to do the same exact thing. Okay, so here's how we can use area model. Just like using a ratio table, some of us might be able to make bigger jumps than others. So please don't feel if you know a bigger jump than I'm showing you that you can't use it. Okay? So for me, I'm comfortable in my tens. So I'm going to do a 10 by 16 because I know that's easy. That's easy for me to multiply in my head. 10 times 16 is 160. Remember, I want to get to 27. So I already have 10. Well, I'm going to do 10 more because, again, I know that one in my head. So another 10 is 160. Okay, I have a 10, 10, which is 20. Now I need 7 more. Okay, I feel comfortable jumping 5 using my 10 is half of 5, or I'm sorry, 5 is half of 10 strategy. Okay, I know that 5 is half of 10, so half of 160 is 80. Right? So right now I have 10, 25. I need 2 more. And 16 times 2 is 32. Right? So I double check again. 10, 20, 25, 26, 27. That's 27 by 16. Oh, I have all my numbers to add up. So what I would do is I would add 160, 160, 80, and 32 up. And what do you know? Just like with our ratio table, my answer is 432. On the next slide, you will have an opportunity to use either method or both methods if you want to show that you understand both methods to solve a bigger problem using smaller numbers. Good luck.